Hello everyone, welcome to VLSI For All. Today we have Pramit, who's analog design engineer at Micron. So let us hear a bit about him. Yeah, so Pramit.
Hey, yeah, hi Rahul.
Hey.
Hello everyone. So myself, Pramit. I work as an analog design engineer. Currently, I'm employed with Micron Technology. So prior to Micron, I worked for another company. This is Tego Technology INC, and there I also worked as an analog design engineer. So there I worked on the power management IC. So
Right.
basically, they work on a very niche technology, which is gallium nitride, and gallium nitride is the cutting edge technology which power management people choose to go for a higher voltage, high frequency switch modes, and also for RF design. So there I worked for 3.1 years, and here I've been with Micron for around 8 months. So altogether, I have 4+ years of experience in the analog design. So analog design is a kind of my hobby, which I turned into my profession.
Sure. Okay,
I'm very
we'll get there.
much
Yeah,
into.
we'll get there. So yeah, Pramit. So could you take us through your gate journey and what was that like about?
Okay.
Right.
So this part will become quite interesting, right? I mean, so I'm not. My score in the gate was not very good compared to my average.
Okay.
So that is something that I like to emphasize instead of getting rid of it. I just wanted to tell you that being a good gate scorer and being a good analog designer, they are less correlated. Okay? So yeah, I studied properly. Mainly my focus was in the device physics, circuit design, analog circuit design, control system. So while doing all these things, my gate preparation went well. So that's how I.
Okay, sure. And so what was your selection process like at Micron, right? So could you take us through the interviews?
Because I had a prior experience in the field they were looking for. So Micron is basically a company which produces DDR, right? DDR, I mean DRAM, and also they have SSDs and NVMe, right? So all of these require some power management blocks and power management circuitry, high speed interface circuitry. So all these things I had prior experience. So I entered into Micron as a lateral candidate.
Okay.
As I had previous experience with Micron, I entered into Micron directly through 4 rounds of interviews. Okay. So first were technical, which was from basically who is currently my manager. He took that interview.
Oh, okay.
Then there were 3 other rounds, which were basically 2 other technical rounds, which were taken by the global design head of Micron Technology, and also one of the leader from China.
Oh,
so that's how all these 3 rounds went. And after that, there was one HR round where we basically discussed about the salary and what my expectations and what I'm looking for joining into Micron.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
Right, basically, could you elaborate more about the interviews, right? Like what were the questions asked and like.
Okay, yeah. So anyone who is aspiring about who has the aspiration for this analog design career should do thoroughly basic comprised of like basic RC circuit, CR circuit, RL circuit. Okay, all these things with various combinations, right? Could be capacitor here and there and RC, and their frequency response and time response, time domain response, with a step input. So that is a fundamental thing that wherever you go, even like TI, Intel, everyone will ask you, start the interview with this question.
Okay.
So these were the first question that we need to focus on. And later on, even after 10 years of experience, you'll be asked that same question. Because when I was fresher, I joined as a fresher when right after 2000, in 2008, I completed my MTech. So right after my MTech, when I joined into that company, Tego Technology, they also asked me the same RC RL question because these are the fundamental things.
Right.
So this is one thing that you have to prepare. Anyone who is aspiring about analog design has to go through this. Next is the basics of all the analog biasing techniques, single stage amplifiers, their biasing techniques, what is biasing, little about that. How then you have to delve, then they delve a little bit onto the design aspect, right? What are the factors which will dictate your transconductance? How sizing will improve your transconductance? How sizing and everything will affect your offset of your signals.
Right,
So
right.
that's how it went.
Okay. So you need to have a knowledge about complete knowledge about MOSFETs, BJTs, and
Yeah, so for
op-amps.
any analog designer, I guess the few things that he or she need to do is one is device physics.
Right.
Should have some basic sound understanding of the devices, working on the device.
Right.
Next
Right.
is your circuit design. That means your analog design. Okay. All the biasing concept, op-amps, single stage amplifier, double stage amplifier, multi-stage amplifier, the pole zero locations by inspection, whether you can tell them or not.
Right.
All
Right.
these things, the biasings and stuff. And another thing which helps us in analog design is control system. We should have the understanding of system knowledge, like Bode plot, the frequency analysis of any system, okay, second order system, time domain analysis of a second order system, this kind of.
Right. Right. Okay. Cool. So like, what was your interview process like in your first company? Like, so how did you get there and all?
Oh, so first company, my professor, Shushank Kushen, he was from Bell Lab, AT&T Bell Lab. So
Okay.
I was doing my project under him. I did my project, BTech project under him. But when I
Okay.
was in my MTech project was in the OFDM modulator and demodulator design using RTL design. So
Okay.
it was in the digital part, but I was very much inclined into analog. So
Okay.
along with that thing, I was also working on the power converters, switching converters, okay, high frequency switching converter booster.
Right.
So my professor was quite fond of me, and he told me about a company that newly set up in India, Tego Technology. That's a pure product company, and they work in the power management and RF design. So listening to that, I went there. I got a referral, and I went there with that referral, and
Okay.
there they had 2 rounds of interview, 3 rounds of interview. Yeah?
Okay.
All these things were technical, right? And what kind of what is my current project I'm working on, which was the analog digital project. So what are the things that I've then they went into the analog, because the profile was for the analog design. So there they simply started from the same thing of RC and RL circuits,
Right.
op-amp, single stage amplifier, double stage amplifier, pole zero compensation, all this.
Right.
So this is just a standard procedure in each and every company, I guess, they follow. Here and there, a little bit of change you'll find in other companies, but the basic procedure is same. At least 2 to 3 rounds of technical interview they will take. Okay. And for any analog design, these are the things that they will ask for sure.
Sure. And like, would you like to suggest any books that you have gone through for analog
especially
profile?
2 books I would like to recommend. First is The Fundamental of Microelectronics by Bezad Razali. That's a red cover book. Okay, and
Right.
that is more suitable for the BTech standard book. Okay, once they have the basic understanding and a very good grasp of the basics, then they can move into another book by the same author, Bezad Razali, Design of Analog CMOS Integrated Circuits.
Right.
So if anyone follow these 2 books, okay, this Fundamental of Microelectronics and the Design of Analogs, CMOS Analog Integrated Circuits by Bezad Razali. So he or she will be cracking into it. Along with this, he or she has to like do all the try to solve the exercise of that book. It's a very good book.
Right. Okay.
So that's how we can do it.
Sure. And like you also mentioned, right, your project was also under a digital domain. So like from where did you get interest in like analog? Like what motivated you to get into this field,
okay.
right?
To be honest, I just wanted to tell you the current scenario of the market. So basically, if you look from this market job perspective, digital job is more and more compared to the analog. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Yeah.
So the reason is that analog, and also just as we are discussing about this, I'd like to say that I very frequently discuss with my colleagues about that. In the digital domain, I'm seeing a lot of automations. Okay? Many of the things, mostly the digital layouts, if you see that standard syllabus layout, most of these are like you can do that automatically. Right? But analog hasn't been automated a lot because of the intricacies of the analog design.
Hmm.
So like this, analog job is very less. So that was one of the reasons that I decided to, even though I was very much inclined into analog, but I was decided to go into digital because there were more opportunities. Because you can work as
Right.
as an RTL designer, as a physical designer. Many aspects were there. Verification engineer. So these opportunities were a bit less because analog jobs are very scarce. But
Right.
my inclination started from very beginning when I started studying circuits. Because apart from just doing my BTech and MTech courses, I used to work on many like DIY type projects. I designed power converters, I designed power supplies, I designed audio systems. I had a very good mentor kind brother, Shoma. His name was Shoma. So while I was doing my MTech, he was doing his PhD. So we used
Right.
to spend a lot of time. We used to spend a lot of time. We had a CRO. So we had a CRO, we had all the lab materials, and I used to do like part and try out, me and that guy. So that is one of the things that was very much motivated into that thing from the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Sure. Definitely. So yeah.
And
So
somehow luck tracked, even though I did my uh, course in like a project in digital design, but I
right.
got the offer in the, which I wanted to do always. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. So like talking about projects, right? So what do you think is the amount of role of a project in an interview, right? Like, so what is the weightage given to that? What do you feel like?
I feel that is one of the most important thing for to prepare yourself. So I just wanted to tell you two things. First is the BTech project. It was a
Right.
purely analog design project. It was there we made one. We had the we made some frequency synthesizers. There we multiplied frequencies and we basically made an instrument. Okay, totally
Hmm.
analog design. So we made a phase measuring instrument which will take a signal and measure the phase with a resolution of 1 degree, and that resolution can be varied. Okay.
Oh.
So this is a purely analog design project. So while doing that project, I basically got introduced to each and every aspect of this industry, starting from the BOM, bill of materials making, to the like PCB design, circuit diagram design, circuit
Hmm.
testing, all these hands-on things I got accustomed. Then into my MTech, I would like to say that we build the OFD, which is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. That is
Right.
a
Right.
technique, yeah, right? So you should know that, right? We're in NVIDIA. So that particular modulation technique we using for 4G, 5G. Right?
Hmm.
So our work was to do the modulated and demodulated design.
Right.
Me and one of my friends. So there we wrote like 4,000 lines of coding in that. So all this flow will help you into for the real life. To be honest, just by doing the courses, just by doing the theoretical courses, and also the little bit of practical, whatever opportunity people get in the real time in the college days, it is
Right.
not sufficient to prepare you for the real time work.
Hmm.
So course, apart from coursework, project work is one of the most important thing I believe, which helped me to prosper.
Right. Sure. And so, like, what do you think is the future prospect of analog, right? If someone wants to
Yeah,
start their
analog
career
just
in analog
yeah,
domain.
yeah, yeah. So okay, I'd like to tell you that whoever wants to come, analog design job is less. But I also wanted to tell you that analog design job is very rewarding because the salary perspective, if I tell you, it starts from a huge amount. As the job amount opportunities are less,
Right.
but
Right.
at the same time, there are good amount of job. Very few companies will hire you, but they will offer you such a kind of salary which you will not be able to get in all of the rest
Yeah.
of the
Less
governments.
less supply, high demand kind of thing, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. But analog design is more of an intuition based, right? So you have to be very clear with your fundamentals, and you have to constantly study.
Okay. Cool. So like you go through all the websites and all, like even today. So is that so?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get your question.
Like, do you go through all the websites regarding the latest things
Yeah,
happening
sure,
in?
sure. Yes, yes, yes. Likewise, I have all the newsletters subscribed. Mostly all the means whatever the things that I currently am working on the power management. So power management related or whatever instrument that is getting like for any kind of measurement technique that has been improved, any kind of new technology that has been created, all these
Right.
things I have the newsletters subscribed on my Gmail account. So I get on a daily basis. This is one aspect of my career which like I study in this way. Another is the basic study. I always try to do that. I
Sure,
even
sure.
study with my BTech books and tech books because these are the like the base, like the
Yeah,
base on which you will do the rest of the work.
yeah. And like, so what's your like exact role at Micron? So what is that
Ah,
like?
so like I told you, Micron provides this DRAM, then SSD, flash memories, right?
Right,
So
right.
all
Yeah,
of these requests have certain amounts of voltage regulators, okay, and some references, some data paths, some oscillators, right? You need this circuitry in order to make your DRAM or SSD work. So
right,
another thing I will just like point out, whenever you try, you're burning, right? Whenever we load something into our device, what do? We basically write something, right? So during write phase of the device, there is some high voltage requirement. High voltage, that is whatever be the voltage that is available from with respect to that, we need some high voltage. So
right.
for that reason, we design a kind of circuit which is called charge pump. So all this power management related work and data path related work I'm associated with in my field.
Sure, sure, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I think we've almost reached the end of the interview. So would you like to say something about like this VLSI for all platform to the
Oh yeah,
audience?
so whoever is listening, just be passionate about what you do, okay? And like you should keep on striving. That's all I would say. It doesn't matter whether that's the reason I told you, right, Rahul, that even though my gate score was not great, I was not
Right, right.
qualified for the IITs, but I just wanted to state this: my package is no less than in IIT. Okay. So this
Okay.
only happened because of my continuous striving and my passion for this. Okay.
Right.
So anyone
Sure.
whoever has passion, it doesn't matter whether you belong to any IIT, whether you are in Tier 3 or Tier 0 college, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good point you've mentioned because like if people read, so if they don't get into NITs, IITs, they think that
No, no,
like they
there's
can't.
nothing to worry.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry. Just let me tell you one thing. The diode equation will be valid in NIT. It will be valid in Africa. It will be valid in Siberia. It won't change. Only thing that will change is with the temperature, because in Africa it will be quite high, so your VT will shift, and in Siberia it is very cold, so your VT will be higher. That is the difference, and that difference each and every one of us studies, right? So nothing to worry. Never ever humiliate yourself. Okay, don't think you are very inferior to respect to those guys. It is nothing, man. In the open market, when you will be left to do a work, then if you can do the work, people are ready to pay you with that same amount. Initial phase in your career, you will be able to see that difference. Okay,
Hmm.
and that difference is just because of the Indian market and Indian people's mentality. But with time, you'll be able to see that the difference has vanished, whether you're prospering more than that.
Sure, sure, definitely. Yeah. So I think yeah, that's pretty much it. And thanks for your time, Pramod.
Yeah,
And
yeah, thank you, Rahul. No
yeah,
issues. Yeah.
yeah. Thanks all for watching the video. Yeah.